Hey everyone, this lesson is on transformations. We're not really learning about transformers, but you know these transformers and how they transform from this guy into a car because he moves his congruent shapes around to turn into a car. So these types of transformations is how a transformer is created, but we're really not learning about transformers today. We're learning about transformations. So let's get these guys out of here. First transformation we're going to learn is translations. Then we're going to learn reflections. And lastly, we're going to talk about rotations. Let's first talk about translations. Well, a translation is when something moves left, right, up, down, maybe diagonally around, but doesn't turn at all. A reflection is going to be when something flips up, maybe flips down, flips to this side, flips to the other side, flip, or flips diagonally. Okay, that's going to be a reflection. Now, a rotation is when we're going to have a center point, and we're going to go around the point. And you notice what a rotation is a little bit different than all of them, and it rotates around the point, clockwise, counterclockwise, around the one point. Now, what's special about all this is that they are all going to be congruent. These are all going to be congruent transformations. So translations, reflections, rotations are all congruent transformations. Doesn't matter what I do to it, this shape is still congruent. Okay, also we know that they have isometry. And what is isometry? That means that they're congruent transformations. We know that when you transform a shape and it is still congruent. There you go, transformations. Now let's get a little bit more into all these transformations and what they are. A little bit more detail. All right, let's first look at, we got a pre-image that turns into an image. All right, and the image always has the ticker there. First, let's start with translation. Let's take an X and a Y. Let's say that we have a point, -3, 4. Let's graph that point right now, -3, 4. Let's take another point, -1, 5. Let's graph that point right now. What we're going to do is we're going to translate this segment. We're going to add 4 to the x plus 4, y plus 3. We're translating it 4 to the right and 3 up. So we're going to have -3 plus 4 and 4 plus 3. What's that going to equal? Well, the new point's going to be 1, 7. So let's graph that point right now. And 1, 7. Let's take -1, 5, and we're going to say -1 plus 4, 5 plus 3. All right, and we're going to get -1. No, we're going to, what's that? Oh yeah, 3, 8. Yep. All right, let's graph that point. And notice how we shifted that segment to the right 4 and up 3. And we have the pre-image, and then we have the image. All right, excellent. Let's move on to reflections. All right, if we're going to take a look at a reflection, let's reflect over the x-axis. All right, if we reflect over the x-axis, xy is going to turn into x, -y. All right, now let's talk about reflecting over the y-axis. All right, well, our x, y is going to turn into negative x, y. Okay, so let's take our points. Let's reflect over the y-axis. All right, so if we're going to reflect over the y-axis, we got the y-axis right there. All right, let's take 2, 3 and reflect it, and let's take 4, 2 and reflect it. Let's graph the points, and we have our little line segment that we're going to be reflecting. So 2, 3 is going to turn into what? And 4, 2 is going to turn, it's the y-axis, so we're going to reflect over the y-axis. We're going to use that rule. So 2, 3 turns into -2, 3. And 4, 2 turns into -4, 2. Awesome. All right, and notice how it's reflected over, and it looks like it's flipped over the y-axis. And we have the pre-image, and then we have the image. All right, let's talk about the rotation. When we rotate around in a circle, all right, I can show you, we're going to deal with clockwise, which looks like this, and we're going to talk about counterclockwise, and that is going to look in the opposite direction that a clock would go, counterclockwise, like that. So a rotation is going to look like this. You're going to be going around the origin, around the circle, all right? And this is all I require of rotation. I want you to know what it looks like, all right? So know that the rotation is going to look something like this. And that went 180 degrees, all right? It went clockwise. All right, and that's about it for transformations. Cool.